Thank you, Mr.
Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Call Andrew Williams.
Take a call on the Environment Canterbury Temporary Commissioners and Improved Water Management Amendment Bill. And in terms of this, Clause 1 talks about the title of the clause, Mr. Chair. And certainly in that title where it says temporary commissioners, that must be an incorrect title. We surely cannot believe that if you do away with local commissioners, local elected commissioners in 2010 and don't intend to replace them until 2016, that's 6 years. That is hardly temporary. Not many people would ever look on something as being temporary which has a 6-year lifespan and shelf life. And in that regards, that is quite misleading, Mr. Chair, to say that these are temporary commissioners when in fact they're not. Now in 2010, the National Government said this would just be a temporary arrangement while they sorted the Environment Canterbury situation out. Then they got hit with the earthquake 1 year later, and there was some understandable difficulties there with suddenly the major February earthquake hitting Canterbury, which gave some reason to try and consolidate things in Canterbury and get things back on a level footing. And therefore, at that time, one could understand that there was a need for a temporary situation, a sort of a holding situation to try and get things back on its feet. But having now seen 2 years gone by, we've just gone past February 22nd, 2 years down the track from the major secondary earthquake in Canterbury, to still be talking about temporary commissioners is quite false. And when we've heard, Mr. Chair, from all sorts of officials, from Dame Margaret Beasley, all about how there should be a transition back to more permanent elected people and getting rid of the permanent commissioners, then certainly that is the way that it should be going. Mr. Chair, New Zealanders have gone to war for democracy, for the right to vote, to stand up for what is right and proper in a civilised world. Cantabrians are no lesser people in our democratic system. They deserve the right to also have a vote and to have their right to go to the ballot box and put their name on a piece of paper and say who they would like to elect. It is unfair for Cantabrians to be stretched out for 6 years and be told this is a temporary situation, because after only 3 years already they're saying this is enough, we've had enough, and we don't need this to continue. What is happening here is that basically behind this whole situation is the government is trying to hide behind the Commissioner's situation and the Environment Canterbury situation in terms of the water rights in Canterbury. And they're using the democratic process and abusing the democratic process in terms of propping up an arrangement they've put in place for the water management in Canterbury. And it's a great shame because the two don't necessarily meet eye to eye. And you have the needs of the rural community and the farming community and out there on the Canterbury Plains up against the needs of the democratic rights of people living in Christchurch and in the greater Christchurch urban metropolitan area. And quite frankly, those things are at odds. And it's a shame that basically this government is giving away those rights to ensure that some of those water rights and water arrangements are upheld. Mr. Chair, we were all very disappointed at the Select Committee to hear from the Chief Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission, David Rutherford, who said that this was a huge attack on democracy, that this was not the correct thing, that people in Canterbury needed some reassurance in terms of you know, they were very delicate. He said they were very exposed. They were feeling very threatened by their predicament in Canterbury. And he said the last thing that Cantabrians needed was to also have their democratic vote and their democratic rights removed from them. You know, and you're in a difficult situation where you don't have a lot and you're facing a lot of adversity. The last thing you also want to lose is your democratic right. The Chief Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission said that. And he also, and I know the National Party members of the committee took offence to this, but he said, you know, New Zealand went to war to stop such regimes occurring in Europe. and we can't point the finger at regimes in Fiji and other places who don't provide democratic rights. You know, and the Human Rights Commissioner very clearly said, we stand up for democracy, Mr Chair. Mr Chair.
The Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Mr Chair, I am very pleased to have a call on the speech.